Well, good morning, campers, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Camp Cryptid. I'm your host, Erica Fett, and today I'm so excited to get into a little area in the United States that prior to researching this, I really didn't know much about. I had heard of it, but I was very, very intrigued while reading all of the stories about the Bridgewater Triangle. But first, I'd like to thank everyone so much for hanging out for last episode, which was all about those leggy little whimsical creatures, the Fresno Nightcrawlers. I had a lot of fun with that episode, and y'all know I love me some creepy, weird cryptids. I also love that I learned about the Carmel area creature, a cryptid in Ohio. I always love learning about new cryptids, especially when they're buckeyes, so that was really exciting. But this week, we are traveling to a land full of mystery in the New England region of the United States. Now, New England is full of so many stories of maritime mysteries, witchcraft, poltergeist, and some of the most haunted locations in this country. But there is a 200 square mile area in Massachusetts known as the Bridgewater Triangle. This little triangle is prone to so many strange happenings. Stories over decades that include electronic interference with cars, satanic cults, ghostly hitchhikers, UFO sightings and phantom lights, hauntings, and legends of creatures lurking behind the dark, dense, rolling fog. And while some native to this area think these stories are just that of legends, others in this area firmly believe that all of those occurrences aren't just coincidence. They think these strange events are happening for a reason. They believe this area is cursed from times before, when war and death came to this region in times of colonial war. And while this large vortex of supernatural activity, known as the Bridgewater Triangle, is over 200 miles, a large hub for this activity is located in the Hockomock Swamp. So Hockomock Swamp, located in the Bridgewater Triangle, was known by natives for centuries as the swamp where spirits dwell, and colonists of those times referred to it as the Devil's Swamp. In modern times, though, locals and those that traverse through the marshes of the swamp will reminisce about the eeriness of the area, with tales of encounters of ghostly beings and close encounters with different cryptids like the Dogman, giant snakes, and even the Thunderbird. And these are all cryptids that have accompanied stories of this area for centuries. Now, people who live around Hockomock Swamp or even visit it today will describe the swamp talking of the black swamp water dimly lit by sunshine peeking through, the dense trees with their branches that look like fingers that will grab you and swallow you into the darkness. There are stories of people who feel eyes watching them as they walk through the area, only to turn around and look and see nothing. Some people have even heard sounds like howls and growls from strange creatures that echo from behind the dark tree line. But this swamp is almost 17,000 acres and full of centuries of strangeness that can't be explained. There's even an area within the swamp called the Grassy Island where archaeologists have recovered artifacts and uncovered graves from early civilizations that date back over 8,000 years. And those artifacts have left behind a history to this area that may never be truly known. Now, I mentioned earlier that there are lots of cryptids that are associated within the Bridgewater Triangle, and especially within the Hockomock Swamp. There are sightings of the Dogman, Bigfoot, giant snakes, puckwudgies, and the Thunderbird, and those are just a few of the weird, bizarre creatures that have been spotted in the Bridgewater Triangle and the Hockomock Swamp. Now, the puckwudgies are one that I've heard of, but I never really did a deep dive on it. But these are creatures of folklore myth. And prior to this episode, like I said, I didn't really know much about them. But the legends of the Wampanoag tribe, native to this area, describe the puckwudgies as a little humanoid cryptid, small and troll-like, with grayish skin and large ears. These little creatures were often associated with trickery and mischief. And they would sometimes even use magic and shape-shifting to play tricks, and then use invisibility to avoid being caught. So my dog is snoring in the background. So if you guys hear a weird noise, it's my dog snoring. Perfect timing for puckwudgies, right? But in some cases, these little beings would be very dangerous to encounter, turning from simple fun and games to death. While stories of the puckwudgies are generally of them being silly little creatures that loved their tomfoolery, the other side of this legend is that they can also be easily offended and turn malevolent. Darker sides of the legend say the puckwudgies would lead people who sighted them astray off the path, causing the person to become lost within this giant swamp area of the forest. Now, sometimes if someone caught a glimpse of one, these creatures would disappear into the brush, only to pop out and scare people from behind. Legends of more spiteful acts of the Pukwudgies even attribute them to pushing people off of cliffs, or even shooting the visitors in the area with poison arrows. And while the Pukwudgie is generally something of myth and legend, over centuries, they have also been attributed to many strange disappearances in earlier times within the swamps and forests of this area of the Bridgewater Triangle. Now, aside from these mischievous little trolls, there were also sightings of a giant ape man, like Bigfoot, in this swamp. The Wampanoag tribe had stories of a large 7-foot ape man covered in hair long before the times of the colonists, and those sightings persist even to this day. A resurgence of these sightings even started in the 1970s, accompanied with strange footprints that people found, and that infamous Bigfoot odor that people would smell, and strange howls. And this still makes this area now a hub for Bigfoot sightings even to this day. Now, I spoke earlier about stories of Pukwudgies pushing people off of cliffs, and there is actually a legend about the cliffs in the Freetown State Forest in the Bridgewater Triangle. Now, these legends say that the area is haunted by someone who fell off the cliff, and sometimes those passing by or hiking the area will be face to face with the ghost of that person, reliving their horrible fate by falling off the cliff right before the hiker's eyes, and then they would hear the terrified screams of that fateful fall. Now, stories have been told over time of these weird occurrences around these cliffs. People would talk about how there were temperature drops that hikers would experience, and that's just the start of this eeriness. Some would even say that around the top of these cliffs, an immense feeling of dread took over their bodies as they were hiking. And even some of these hikers said it led some people feeling the urge to jump themselves. These cliffs are also associated with people seeing mysterious orbs that would circle around the tops of the cliffs. So there's definitely something weird and eerie going on around this area as well. But the Freetown Cliffs aren't the only place that people have witnessed strange orbs within the Bridgewater Triangle. Anawan Rock is another location of this area where numerous people have witnessed orbs floating in the dark hours of night. This location was also a crucial point in King Philip's War, when Chief Anawan surrendered to the colonists, ending the war. But even after Chief Anawan surrendered, his tribe still met a dark fate by the hands of the colonists, which is why many believe this area is still haunted by those natives that were mistreated by those colonists. You can even still hear the sounds of the ghostly drums in the dead of night in this area. Freetown State Forest is not only a location in the Bridgewater Triangle that has a lot of weird occurrences, it's also a location where dark satanic cult activity happened for decades. Many murders, animal sacrifices, and other grisly events happened here over the years. Local law enforcement has found many secret bunkers, pentagrams, and other signs of dark worship, making many around this area fear the woods and the spirits that those woods may hold. Now, aside from all of the strange stories of the wilderness in the Bridgewater Triangle, the Bridgewater Triangle is also the location of one of the most high-profile unsolved murders in the history of the United States. The Lizzie Borden house, the site of the axe murders of 1892, that still remains unsolved, is also in this strange little area within the Bridgewater Triangle. Now, most people who have stayed at this house, because you can stay there, it's a little Airbnb now, which is really, really creepy and cool. But many people who have stayed at this house or visited it have encountered intense paranormal activity that can't be explained. And now, while all these tales of creatures, curses, and ghosts can be explained by sheer coincidence, hoaxes, or misidentification, it just comes down to if you want to believe that there's something more going on here underneath the surface in the Bridgewater Triangle. So, there are so many other things that happen in the Bridgewater Triangle, and I feel like I could definitely do like a whole complete like hour-long episode about everything, because there's King Philip's Cave, there is intense UFO activity, there are multiple sightings of different ghosts like hitchhiker ghosts. There's just a lot of weirdness going on within the Bridgewater Triangle. But I really wanted to take today to introduce everyone to it, because today was kind of my little deep dive into the Bridgewater Triangle. So I thought it was a really fun little creepy topic to talk about today. So with that being said, I guess I need to go do an in-person investigation and decide for myself. I 100% believe in curses and the emotions from events resonating in an area, especially for eternity, right? So next time you visit the Bridgewater Triangle or the Hockomock Swamp or even the Freetown State Forest, just pay your respects to those who lost their lives, and definitely do not disrespect a pukwudgie, and definitely don't follow it if you find yourself alone in the forests or swamps of the Bridgewater Triangle. So I thought that was a really fun little topic. I was really excited to find more eeriness because we all know, like, you know, when it comes to the New England area in the United States, there's a lot of history there, and there's a lot of weirdness there between the Salem witch trials, between all of the maritime mysteries, legends of ghost ships and pirates. I just think the New England area is full of a lot. And we all know that it was an area that was full of war and strife and a lot of conflicts. So there's definitely a lot of emotions. And like I said, I definitely believe in curses. So yeah, I would love to hear if anybody in that area of the Bridgewater Triangle has ever experienced anything weird. Maybe I'll have to do a part 2 and go and do a deep dive in the UFO sightings of the area as well. So there's definitely a lot of weirdness going on there, and I really think it's really spooky and a fun topic to talk about. So yeah, real quick, I'd like to apologize for being a little late on the episode this week. For those of you who follow me on Twitter, you know my dog was diagnosed with bone cancer. I think I mentioned it last episode too. But we had a little emergency this week, but he's doing well. He's resting. He's a tough little pup. And for those of you who have known Maine, you know that he is a tough, sweet boy. So he's just getting his sleep and he's resting, and we just need him to be the big baby that he is. So yeah, other than that, I have been kind of hanging out with my dog while he's been healing. So it's been kind of rewatching Game of Thrones because, like I talked about a couple episodes, my husband has never watched some of the middle seasons. So we had a lot of fun watching the Red Wedding. Well, I guess it wasn't a lot of fun, but it was an intense episode watching the Red Wedding. And then we watched the Battle of the Bastards last night, which was really, really fun. It's like going from House of the Dragon finale to, just sometimes in Game of Thrones season or episode 9 is better than the actual finale. So, yeah, I love going back through and watching it because it's just, honestly, it's one of those shows where, we were watching the Hodor episode last night or yesterday, and I forgot how, like some of these episodes just make me cry like a baby. And, you just forget how good the storytelling is in Game of Thrones. So if you haven't watched Game of Thrones, you're missing out. And I would just kind of love to see more Game of Thrones. Like, bring it back. Let us see what's going on now. I mean, I'm okay with all these other prequels and stuff because I really like to see Aegon's conquest and stuff. But yeah, I'm just really excited about anything Game of Thrones, which is also why I'm obsessed with House of the Dragon. I'm like, what's a girl got to do to get a dragon these days, right? But yeah, so yeah, I haven't really been watching much. I did kind of check out the first episode of Batman, the Caped Crusader, which was like a blast from the past. I grew up watching the Batman, the animated series, and so watching that was amazing. I really, really enjoyed it, and definitely want to sit down and watch a little bit more of that. But yeah, it was definitely a blast from the past, and in the best way. So. But yeah, I'm awful with my dog going through surgery and everything. I've been awful. I haven't even seen Longlegs yet. So I've just been kind of bad about staying on top of my horror and sci-fi. Well, I'm just in a fantasy kick right now. It's fine. Even though I talk about a lot of creepy topics, I feel like a lot of times fantasy, horror, and sci-fi are very mixed, right? There's a lot of elements of each that can be crossed over into each different genre. So yeah. I mean, y'all know I love me some Tolkien, and I'm a big like Lord of the Rings fan. Give me all the fantasy stuff. I just love it all. But yeah, it is my birthday month, so I'm really excited that Alien Romulus is coming out. I'm very, very, very excited for that. That's probably the one thing I've been looking forward to. I love Alien, and I love all of the Alien movies and the whole entire Alien franchise. I even love Prometheus, and I get so mad when people get Prometheus a hard time. And I'm like, that movie was so visually just like stimulating. I loved it. Oh God, it's so good. But yeah. That is my week. I'm just hanging out. I had patrons start to kind of give their input on what cryptid or theme they'd like to see for the end of the month, and I think Ghost Ships is winning right now, which is pretty cool. So yeah, if you aren't a member of my Patreon, don't forget you can go sign up for free. It's free to be a member. I do have 2 tiers, but one is just for early access and being able to vote on polls. And then the other tier is just the sticker club, because I send out cool little Camp Cryptid stickers every month. So it's really fun. I'm doing like a little treasure map cryptid sticker sheet this month for my birthday. I wanted to make it extra special. So I thought that one was really, really fun. But yeah, I hope you all have been having a great week so far. Well, actually, it's an end to the week now. I'm so used to coming out on Wednesday that it's like I forgot that today is like going to be a Friday. So hey, weekend, go enjoy your weekend, y'all. Go enjoy some sunshine, some good food. Go relax, do something for yourself, and treat yourself. You deserve it, okay? And in the meantime, let me know of any creepy happenings that you have may encountered in the Bridgewater Triangle, and if you've heard anything about the Bridgewater Triangle that maybe I didn't talk about today, I can do a little follow-up episode with all the other spooky goodness going on in this region. And I'd like to go to Lizzie Borden house someday. I don't know about staying in it though. That kind of seems a little scary, and I don't know how I feel about that, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, thanks so much, y'all, for hanging out for another episode. I really appreciate you all being here and the support you all give, especially to these episodes and to me as a person. So you all make my days brighter. So thank you so much. And like I said, go enjoy your weekend. Go do something for you. Go enjoy. And until next time, take care.